today Prof Graewe is going to do my forehead, my frown lines and my frown, and then you get these little laugh lines as well next to the side that some people call the crow feet. I have Botox done regularly every 3 or 4 months by Prof Graewe. That's to prevent the lines in my forehead. Like you can see, if you don't frown, you still have that instant lines, but if you get your Botox done every 3 to 4 months, then you don't have that. It's very good for aging, and Botox is really not painful.
Botulinum toxin is basically, I wouldn't call it a toxin in the sense that it's really like a poison, but it's a messenger. It transmits messages, and it sits on a receptor on the muscle cell, and that blocks the receptor so that the nerve impulse doesn't come through and that the muscle doesn't work. For me, it's not like a poisonous substance that stays in the body and that can cause problems like in years to come. It's something that is there, that works for a while, and then it's completely absorbed, it's completely broken down, and it's inactive after a while. A lot of people ask me, is it dangerous? I would say it's actually quite a healthy thing if you know how to use it and if you know how to dose it, and it works amazing. And we actually at the moment we're finding more and more applications for Botox. It's not only used for aesthetics. The aesthetics use was accidental finding. If I remember correctly, the first time it was used in children that had a squint. It was used to sort of weaken certain muscles, ocular muscles, so that the eye movements become more balanced and that they don't squint anymore. Samantha had Botox for a few times, and the first thing I tell new patients that come for Botox is listen, because they ask me what is dangerous about Botox. So I tell them, look, the biggest danger is once you have it done once, you're hooked.
That's true.
And most patients come back and come back and back and back, and it's really amazing. And the longer you use it, the better it works, the more balanced it looks, and the stronger the action is also. Now the areas in the face that we use it for, where it's got the most amazing effect, are the eyes. It opens up the eyes, it opens up the forehead, the eyebrows, it makes the eyes bigger. It helps with little lines, frown lines. It helps with the little lines around the eyes, the smile lines. But it's not only limited to the eyes. You can use it in the lower face. There was very interesting internet articles recently where they talked about the resting bitch face, which sounds horrible, of course. It's quite a funny description. Actually, you're not really angry, but you just look angry because or sad because the lower part of the face has dropped, and I see that a lot. Samantha is still too young for that, but I see it a lot in patients from 40 onwards, where you can actually see that the angles of the mouth, they start drooping, you get necklines, you get jowls. So you can use it together with fillers or together with other modalities. You can also use threads, or you can use radio frequency or other ways of skin tightening, but in combination, but also on its own, to improve that sadness and to lift the angles of the mouth, to relax the neck a little bit. It's actually funny, somebody once asked, what do you do about the 11? So I said, what's the 11? So I googled it, the 11, and it's actually when you frown here, the 2 lines, that's the 11 here. Another patient the other day told me after Botox, this lifted up a little bit and she had 3 folds here, and she called it the Wi-Fi sign. So I call it now the reversed Wi-Fi sign, which can happen, if you inject Botox and the patient has got a strong muscle here, which you should evaluate before, and then you just put a little drop of Botox on both sides, and that stops the Wi-Fi sign or the reversed Wi-Fi sign. But let's talk about baby Botox. Baby Botox is so-called Botox for people that don't really look old or that need Botox to look younger, but they use it to prevent these permanent lines from forming. Because everybody from a young age has emotions, has emotional expressions, which are good, and that's another thing, we don't want to stop that with Botox. We want to weaken it a little bit. But by injecting Botox into those areas, you prevent these lines from becoming permanent. And you see a lot of patients that didn't have the privilege of having Botox. From 40, 45, 50, they've got these permanent lines. And you can improve them with Botox at that age, but sometimes, in quite a few cases, you have to use some filler and some other modalities to actually improve it or try to take it away. if possible. So that's the baby Botox, the preventative action of Botox. I always start here in the middle. This is the glabellum and the procerus muscle, just to relax it a bit because it causes this little line, and I want to balance this whole area. Now I'm going to deactivate the 11. And now the most important thing, for a woman, you must lift the eyebrows. And it's not easy because you have to inject it into a muscle that is very superficial, and the muscles in the face, they actually lie sometimes on top of each other. If you go too deep, you hit the muscle under it, especially in this area, it can actually drop everything down. And if you want the right muscles, you have to go more superficial, so it's not always easy. Samantha, can you just look up? Yeah. So we see these lines here, so I'm gonna, okay, you can relax again. So I'm gonna do a little bit here, not too much, because I don't want her eyebrows to come down. I'm gonna do a little bit for the reversed Wi-Fi. We don't want that. I'm gonna do a little bit for her eyes. And as I said, she's young. Just look up, Samantha. I'm gonna do this one here. Makes her eyes bigger. We'll see next week. Yeah, I love this one because it makes your eyes a little bit bigger without drooping your lids. It's just very natural, and that's what you want. You want big eyes. You know, when you look in your eyes, they must be huge. You don't want this here.
Yeah.
You don't want an exclamation mark.
That's not what we want.
But you want nice, natural, big eyes. Botox as such is quick. I would say every 3 or every 4 months. It can be done in 10-15 minutes. If you look at it, if you look at the costs of Botox per treatment, depending of course how much you need, say it's like 2,500 Rand for a treatment, and you need 3 treatments per year. You divide that by 12, then you actually know what it costs you to actually look really amazing. And if you compare that to your normal skincare products, it is actually much more cost effective. I don't say skincare products are not important, they're very important too, and they fulfill a different purpose because Botox relaxes muscles of your face, and skincare products basically improve and preserve your skin quality. But if you look at the effect of those, then Botox has a much bigger immediate effect. Probably typically if somebody comes to you and says, you know, what can I do now to look better in 2 weeks time for the wedding of my niece, or you know, Botox and filler. And vampire.
Yeah.
Vampire is ideal.
So do a vampire, some Botox, some filler, and you're going to look like a goddess.
I had my Botox done by Prof. Graewe. I did my forehead, my crow's feet, and a little bit under my eyes to widen my eyes. We give it 4 to 7 days before it really kicks in and to see the results. So I'll see you next week. So it's been a week since my Botox has been done. I'll show you my forehead.
Cool.
And when I smile, my crow's feet, and also my frown. So, okay, so as you can see, I don't have the frozen look because I like more the natural look. I still have movement in my forehead. That's why I like it to be done with Prof. Graewe. He does it very naturally, and he will rather inject a little bit less, and then you can always come back afterwards if you would like to have a little bit more. And the reason why I do my Botox is to prevent the wrinkle lines, and also I like the fresh look. And that's me.